Welcome back to Movies on the Brain, where we review the most legendary and iconic films of all time. I'm Jason, and today we're stepping back in time to the ancient world of honor, revenge, and glory with Gladiator. Directed by Ridley Scott, Gladiator is a cinematic triumph that redefined the historical epic genre, with unforgettable performances from Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, and Connie Nielsen. This film explores the brutal and complex world of ancient Rome, where honor can mean life or death. In Gladiator, we witness a story of vengeance and redemption that strikes at the heart of what it means to fight for justice. Let's dive into this unforgettable epic and see why it remains a modern classic. Gladiator opened in theaters on May 5th, 2000 in the US and May 12th, 2000 in the UK with a budget of $103 million. In its 53-week theatrical run, it earned $187.7 million domestically and $272.8 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $460.5 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn $34.8 million, finishing number one in the box office ahead of the likes of U571, Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, Frequency, and Where the Heart Is, numbers 2 through 5 respectively. Its final week in theaters saw it earn $542 while only being shown in 2 theaters, finishing its box office run at number 59. Now you'll have to excuse me because a lot of these names and stuff are hard, so I'm going to give this plot as best I can. In 180 AD, the Roman general Maximus Decimus Meridius intends to return home after he leads the Roman army to victory against Germanic tribes near Vindobona. Emperor Marcus Aurelius tells Maximus that his own son Commodus is unfit to rule and that he wishes Maximus to succeed him as regent to restore the Roman Republic. Angered by this decision, Commodus secretly murders his father. Commodus proclaims himself as the new emperor and requests loyalty from Maximus, who refuses. Maximus is arrested by Praetorian guards led by Quintus, who tells him that he and his family will die. Maximus kills his captors and wounded rides for his home near Pergalium, where he finds his wife and son executed. Maximus buries him and collapses from his injuries. He is found by slave traders who take him to Zuccabar in the Roman province of Martania Caesar Renus, and sell him to the gladiator trainer Proximo. Maximus reluctantly fights in local tournaments, his combat skills helping him win matches and gain popularity. He earns the nickname the Spaniard and befriends Huba, an African gladiator from Carthage. In Rome, Commodus organizes 150 days of gladiatorial games to commemorate his father and win the approval of the Roman public. Upon hearing this, Proximo reveals to Maximus that he was once a gladiator who was freed by Marcus Aurelius and advises him to win the crowd to gain his freedom. Proximo takes his gladiators to fight in Rome's Colosseum. Disguised in a masked helmet, Maximus debuts in the arena as a Carthaginian in a reenactment of the Battle of Zama. Unexpectedly, he leads his side to victory and wins the crowd's support. Commodus and his young nephew Lucius enter the Colosseum to offer their congratulations. Seeing Lucius, Maximus refrains from attacking Commodus, who orders him to reveal his identity. Maximus removes his helmet and declares vengeance. Commodus is compelled by the crowd to let Maximus live. That evening, Maximus is visited by Lucilla, his former lover and Commodus' sister. Distrusting her, Maximus refuses her help. Commodus arranges a duel between Maximus and Tigris of Gaul, an undefeated gladiator. Several tigers are set upon Maximus, but he prevails. At the crowd's desire, Commodus orders Maximus to kill Tigress, but Maximus spares his life in defiance. In response, the crowd chants Maximus the Merciful, angering Commodus. To provoke Maximus, Commodus taunts him about the murder of his family, but Maximus resists the urge to strike him. Increasingly paranoid, Commodus instructs his advisor Falco to have every senator followed and refuses to have Maximus killed for fear he will become a martyr. Maximus discovers from Cicero, his ex-orderly, that his former legions remain loyal to him. He meets in secret with Lucilla and Gracchus, an influential senator. They agree to help Maximus escape Rome to join his legions in Ostia, topple Commodus by force, and hand power back to the Roman Senate. Praetorians arrest Gracchus. Lucilla meets Maximus at night to arrange his escape. They share a kiss. Commodus becomes suspicious when Lucilla's son Lucius innocently hints at the conspiracy. Commodus threatens Lucilla and Lucius and has Praetorians attack the gladiators' barracks. Proximo and his men sacrifice themselves to enable Maximus to escape. Maximus is captured at the rendezvous with Cicero, where the latter is killed. Commodus demands that Lucilla provide him with an heir. He challenges Maximus to a duel in the Colosseum to win back public approval and stabs him before the match to gain an advantage. Despite his injury, Maximus disarms Commodus during the duel. After Quintus and the Praetorians refuse to help him, Commodus unsheathes a hidden knife. Maximus overpowers Commodus and drives the knife into his throat, killing him. Before Maximus succumbs to his wounds, he asks for political reforms, the emancipation of his gladiator allies, and the reinstatement of Gracchus as a senator. As he dies, Maximus envisions reuniting with his wife and son in the afterlife. His friends and allies honor him as a soldier of Rome and carry his body out of the arena. That night, Huba visits the Colosseum and buries figurines of Maximus's wife and son at the spot where he died. Now let's look at the cast and some of the other roles they've had. Russell Crowe as Maximus Decimus Meridius. Other roles for Russell Crowe include Father Gabriel Emerith in The Pope's Exorcist, Tom Cooper in Unhinged, and Jack Knife in The Man with the Iron Fists. Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus. Other roles for Joaquin Phoenix include Arthur Fleck in Joker 2, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Jack Morrison in Ladder 49. Connie Nielsen as Lucilla. Other roles for Connie Nielsen include Gwen Carver in Role Play, Becca Menzel in Nobody, and Hippolyta in the Wonder Woman franchise. Oliver Reed as Antonius Proximo. Before his passing in May of 1999, other roles for Oliver Reed included Jamie Campbell Stewart in Parting Shots, Molly Hopkins in Funny Bones, and Jack Fisher in The Revenger. Derek Jacobi as Senator Gracchus. Other roles for Derek Jacobi include the narrator in the TV show The Lost Pirate Kingdom, Dr. Hobson in The Host, and Professor Wright in Tolkien. Jamon Hunsao as Huba. Other roles for Jamon Hunsao include Henry in A Quiet Place Day 1, Dola in The King's Man, and Cartwright in Air. Richard Harris as Marcus Aurelius. Before his passing in October of 2002, other roles for Richard Harris include Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter 1 and 2, Dr. Carl in The Pearl, and Old Harry in Grizzly Falls. Ralph Moeller as Hagen. Other roles for Ralph Moeller include Mocker in Beerfest, Thorak in The Scorpion King, and Officer John in Postal. Tommy Flanagan as Cicero. Other roles for Tommy Flanagan include Philip Telford in the TV show Sons of Anarchy, Jimmy Remus in Sleeping Dogs, and Marcus in Killers Anonymous. David Schofield as Senator Falco. Other roles for David Schofield include Colonel Smith in 6 Minutes to Midnight, Chief Inspector Derek Newsom in Mindhorn, and Constable Nye in The Wolfman. John, John Shrapnel as Senator Gaius. Before his passing in February of 2020, other roles for John Shrapnel include Nestor in Troy, Admiral Bratyev in K-19 The Widowmaker, and Crowley in Chemical Wedding. Tomas Arana as Quintus. Other roles for Tomas Arana include Laurie in the TV show Succession, Rocco in The Final Fight, and Martin Marshall in The Bourne Supremacy. Spencer Treat Clark as Lucius Verus. Other roles for Spencer Treat Clark include Adrian Dolan in the TV show Animal Kingdom, Mike Rierson in Salem's Lot, and Joseph Dunn in Glass. David Hemmings as Cassius. Before his passing in December of 2003, other roles for David Hemmings include Nigel in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Proctor in Equilibrium, and Harry Duncan in Spy Game. Sven Ole Thorson as Tigris of Gaul. Other roles for Sven Ole Thorson include Hans in Enemy Hands, the would-be king in The 13th Warrior, and Haft in The Sum of All Fears. Omid Jalili as a slave trader. Other roles for Omid Jalili include Steve in the TV show The Change, Yusuf Amir in the Grand Theft Auto video game series, and Tiger in Over the Hedge. Giannina Facio as Maximus' wife. Other roles for Giannina Facio include Paladin's sister in Kingdom of Heaven, Hoffman's wife, Body of Lies, and the Lady in Waiting in 2010's Robin Hood. Giorgio Antarini as Maximus' son. The only other role Giorgio Antarini has had is Giorgio Lamborghini in Lamborghini, the Man Behind the Legend. John Quinn as Valerius. Other roles for John Quinn include Simi in Lakelands, McDonough in Black 47, and the detective in The Hole in the Ground. You know, that first battle was so chaotic and extremely well shot. And I love Hans Zimmer's score behind it, and I feel like it really elevated it. I really liked that slow motion at the end of the battle. I feel like it was real tasteful, and even slowing down Russell Crowe's victory cry was a great idea. Our introduction to Joaquin Phoenix's character Commodus was a great one. You could tell that he was a snake, especially with the score playing behind him as he heads to the battlefield. When the Emperor tells Commodus that Maximus will be the next ruler, the change in Joaquin Phoenix's facial expressions were really well shot, and I really like the way Joaquin Phoenix sold being upset at the news, almost to the point where you feel bad for him. Richard Harris was great at showing how upset the Emperor was that Commodus was upset that he wasn't chosen as his successor. The change in the score from when it seemed the Emperor and Commodus were having a heartfelt moment, Commodus smothering the Emperor because he was angry, was amazing. The swell in it when the Emperor said Commodus's faults were because the Emperor failed as a father, and then the change once you realize Commodus is smothering the Emperor was fantastic. The betrayal of Commodus and the Roman army was well acted and written, and the fact that they killed Maximus's son and wife and hanged them. I'm assuming they hanged them because we knew that because they knew that that would be where he was going. To be honest, I didn't recognize Jamon Honsal at first when we first met him until he spoke. I really enjoyed the choreography of that first fight in the first Coliseum, having Maximus and Jamon Honsal's character, who we later find out is named Huba, being shackled together was really neat to watch. I'm surprised it took over an hour until we get that iconic "Are you not entertained?" line. And it comes after Maximus single handedly kills 5 or 6 men. I lost count, beheading the final one. Joaquin Phoenix's expression during the retelling of the Battle of Carthage were so entertaining to watch. The entire scene of the reveal of the Spaniard being Maximus was extremely well written and well shot. I'm going to be saying that a lot about some of these scenes. You can see Commodus's faces change once he realizes who it is. And even with the deck stacked against Maximus, he wins the next fight, and I really enjoyed the choreography of that scene again, even with the tigers being involved. If I were Maximus when Commodus was talking about my wife and son, I'd have attacked him right then and there, and without a second thought. And again, I'm going to be talking about choreography. Final fight between Maximus and Commodus, even with the hindrance of Maximus being stabbed in the back prior, was a really great fight. I thought the choreography was well done. The slow motion was placed perfectly, and watching Maximus use Commodus's own hand to attack Commodus and kill him before succumbing to his injuries was very well shot. Lucilla's final speech was amazing, and Huba burying the figures of Maximus' son and wife in the Roman Colosseum. I feel like that was the perfect way to end the movie. Joaquin Phoenix ad-libbed his scream of "Am I not merciful?" Connie Nielsen wasn't expecting it, and her frightened reaction was genuine. Russell Crowe later admitted initially feeling unworthy of all the praise and the Oscar for Best Actor that he got for this movie. After seeing the completed movie, he felt it was a director's film, and that the Oscar should have gone to director Ridley Scott instead. The wounds on Russell Crowe's face after the opening battle scene are real, caused when his horse startled and backed him into tree branches. The stitches on his cheek are clearly visible, and he is telling Commodus he intends to return home. Oliver Reed died 3 weeks before principal photography ended, because Proximo was considered a key character. A clause in the movie's insurance contract would have allowed the filmmakers to reshoot all of Reed's scenes with another actor at the insurer's expense of $25 million. However, most of the actors and crew were exhausted from the punishing schedule, and Sir Ridley Scott did not want to cut Reed from the film. The script was rewritten, and a body double and CGI were used to give Reed's character a plausible resolution. Maximus's description of his home, specifically how the kitchen is arranged and smells in the morning and at night, was ad-libbed. It's a description of Russell Crowe's own home in Australia. Connie Nielsen found the 2,000-year-old signet ring he wears in the movie in an antique store. This is Russell Crowe's favorite of any American movie he has done. He also cites Maximus as his favorite role. Joaquin Phoenix was incredibly nervous on set. He asked Russell Crowe to rough him up before their big scene together, to psych Phoenix up. Crowe was at a loss. He went to Richard Harris for advice. "Mate, what are we going to do with this kid? He's asking me to abuse him before takes," he said. Harris replied, "Let's get him pissed." Over the course of several hours and several pints of Guinness, Crowe and Harris relaxed their co-starring. A surprising fount of information in terms of Roman history was Connie Nielsen, who has always been fascinated by the period. She would be frequently consulted over accurate historical details. Joaquin Phoenix was always Ridley Scott's first choice to play Commodus. The Germania battle sequence took 20 days to complete. Costume designer Yanti Yates and her team created more than 10,000 costumes for the cast and extras. Editor Pietro Scalia added the shot of Maximus moving through the wheat field to the beginning of the film. It had been filmed for the ending. Russell Crowe explained why he said yes to the movie. They said, "It's a $10 million movie. You're being directed by Ridley Scott. You play a Roman general." I've always been a big fan of Ridley's. This movie had surpassed its $103 million budget within 2 weeks of release. And that's my review of Gladiator, a film that stands as one of the greatest epics of all time, filled with intense battles, gripping drama, and unforgettable performances. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe to Movies on the Brain for more in-depth breakdowns of your favorite films. And if you're excited for Gladiator 2, stay tuned. I'll be reviewing that one shortly after it hits theaters, so make sure you don't miss out. Drop your thoughts on Gladiator in the comments below, and let me know how you think the sequel will measure up. Until next time, stay strong and fight with honor.